guys, it's Nina from VR Focus. We are here at E3 and there are some exciting things happening. If you've had problems trying to figure out your workflow, this guy might have the solution for you. We have
Cory Hartlen, Senior Account Executive at Celtx, covering the GEM product, our gaming editor module.
So can you tell me a little bit about what you've built and why it's important?
Well, last year we started interviewing some of our existing gaming and VR customers because we knew they were already using our standard studio product, but we knew that the stories that they were telling were interactive, non-linear, right? There was no tool to help them plan an interactive narrative. So we asked them how they were flexing our current studio product to accomplish their goals. And what we found out was that they had an extra layer of process they had to add so they could flex their interactive narrative to write in a straight line. Right? So we thought that wasn't a very good experience for our customers, right? So then we started to work on what would they need, right? They needed synchronicity and awareness when they were writing. They needed to be able to create multiple branches, interactive dialogue, but then also make it easy for your whole workflow and your whole front end to work together. So things like creative teams, your writers, your graphic designers, your developers, so that everybody could work collaboratively and move from that linear process that we all know and grown over, right? That Team B can't start until Team A's done, Team C until Team B's done. But when everybody collaborates in the same platform, then what we're seeing with our existing customers is a dramatic reduction in production time. Aeon Dream Studios was a great example of that. They were one of our early adopters and helped us through our early access program. They started about April. They're an interactive novel. It's almost like a digital version of the Choose Your Own Adventure books we read when we were kids, right? So they tell some great stories, and they were having a trouble basically expressing their creativity. They wanted to do more with these characters, and they wanted it to be more complex, but were having a really hard time communicating a complex story through the whole workflow chain. So we spoke to their team. One of their writers, for example, after using GEM, this is my favorite quote. She basically was writing a chapter every 5 to 7 days. You know, if the chapter was easy and she had a good grasp of where she wanted to take the story, it would take her maybe 4 or 5 days. If she had some writing blocks, maybe closer to 7, or if the chapter was a little bit more complex. Right now, she's writing most of her chapters in 2 days. So now that she has a story map to accompany the script, she doesn't feel blocked when she gets a writing block. She sees the story and just click into another section of the chapter, another branch, another node in the story, and continue to write. So what she's finding is that as she's writing in these 20-minute sprints, then all of a sudden her subconscious will go, oh, I know how I want to end that one particular part of the story. So for her, not only have we doubled her efficiency and her productivity, we've also increased her satisfaction.
So you guys come from I think a script writing program.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
So what's happened now? How's it changing? And on what platform is it available on?
Sure. So we did have a desktop downloadable app started in 2004, and about 2012 we moved to the cloud because we wanted to be able to do that non-linear media production planning for anybody doing video projects. Could be even the big screen, small screen, stage, you name it, and available for iOS and Android.
How much is that?
The scripting you actually get for free, so
okay.
great for students and great for people that are just starting to cut their teeth with script writing. But then we also have a whole series of story development tools, another whole series of pre-production tools, and all the tools you need to carry you through production. So we really focus the core studio platform on your first 3 stages of video production. It's using things like storyboards, screenwriting, and index cards for story development, then moving into your catalog, your budget, your scheduling for pre-production, and then making sure you've got those mobile apps on the go so that nobody has to worry about updating that call sheet, right? When you're on set, hey, you've got a mobile app for that. It's right on your phone, gets updated, synchronous, very nice and clean and easy.
Amazing, great.
Yes.
And so how come you decided to go from filmmaking into VR? What's happened?
Well, you know, we really wanted to get into the gaming space because we already had some gaming customers. And we knew that the way they were flexing the system, it just wasn't doing it for them, right? We didn't want our customers to feel they had to have an extra layer of process to get the job done. So by doing a few interviews with companies like Gearbox, Aeon Dream, Starbreeze, Other Ocean also is another great supporter of ours, we took their feedback and then got to work developing and building. So when we started to come out with these narratives, what we also found out was that, you know what, we're also building for the VR agency side. Because when we think about marketing in general, or many journeys, they're not straight. Decisions for even stories, what a lot of creatives really enjoy is that now they can have a very neat way to plan a decision tree for a whole season of a TV show, for instance, right? Because they know that there's going to be subplots and side stories, and when do I want to bring that story arc in? So that multiple branching of the narrative really does allow them to have some options and then decide what the main flow of the story is going to end up being.
So you've been at E3.
Yeah.
What have you been asking around? What is the feedback?
Wow, the feedback has been overwhelming. Like I said before, when the worst meeting we had all week was when somebody said they couldn't buy until November when they went into production for their new development. So when you have a full week of meetings and that's the worst meeting you had a pretty fun week, and I've been greatly enjoying my time. So what's next? We really just launched our gaming editor module, and now it's just being able to take all that great feedback we got this week and from our early access program to build our near-term, short-term, and long-term roadmaps.
And this is an odd question. I've interviewed a few Chinese VR companies,
Yeah.
and I'm wondering if you've discussed the workflow of narrative with Eastern and Western culture and the differences between those.
That's a good one. The great thing about what we have inside of the gaming editor is that in the next phase, some of our next launches, we did put in some elements just for game creators because we knew they needed elements very similar to the way a regular screenplay writer would, but we knew they had to be, not just things like actor, character, dialogue, scene, setting, but then what about sound effects? What about graphic effects? What about game mechanics, items, and these branches? So what the next phase is going to be custom elements for script writing. So no matter what your format or what your style, you'll be able to flex these elements to fit your process.
Right.
Because we even talked earlier about emotion,
Yes.
right? And that was one of the things that Aeon Dream started to use, was saying, okay, not only do I have a definition of my character and where they are and what's going on, I also want my graphic designers to know the emotional state of the character, so when they do their first round of conceptual art, right, they take into account the emotion of the characters at that point in the story.
And this is probably a little bit tricky or completely irrelevant, and you could probably do it on a little index storyboard card, but VR and sound are almost synchronous, and trying
true.
to showcase where and how to direct your viewer or your person with sort of either sound or a character, how can you visually see that as well, trying to direct people through sound?
Very true, and that's very easily why we have one of the elements you can use in the gaming editor module is a sound effect option, right? So you can incorporate sound into that. And also in the catalog, we catalog all of those elements so that your creative team, your writing, your graphic designers, and your developers, or even your composers, are now able to collaborate because each element has a profile.
Amazing.
So you can upload media so that audio track could be uploaded, that initial conceptual art can be uploaded, and then giving you spaces for animation notes, developer notes, character notes, background, bio, you name it. So a great way to evolve the character over the production and over the creation period of your project.
Great. So where can we find out more information about the product and what you guys are doing?
Oh, please go to Celtx.com, CELTX.com.
Great. Thank you so much for this interview.
It was a pleasure, Nina. You guys have a great week.
Thank you. And head over to vrfocus.com if you want to find out or hear anything related to VR, and I will see you there.
Thank you.